Hey guys, it's Ren with Makeup by Ren, and today I'm going to show you how to define and sculpt your features. So if you're interested in watching my contouring and highlighting video, stay tuned for more. Okay guys, step 1. In order to learn how to contour and highlight, you have to make sure and pick the correct materials that will suit your skin tone and your skill level. So first let's start off with bronzers, aka MSFs, aka foundations, whatever will help you achieve a contoured look. So let's look at contouring powders. Okay, so as you can see, I laid out a few of the various materials that I've used in order to do some contouring or sculpting. And really you can use whatever makes you happy. I'm going to start off here with some of the more obvious. These are actually sculpting powders in various shades, and they're exactly for contouring. That's what they're made for. They're powders, so they're really easy to use, and they're matte with a little bit of a sheen. This one right here is actually a blush. This is blunt, or this is for matte blush. You can use a darker brown blush to contour as well. A good one from NYX's Taupe. You can also use bronzer. Just make sure that they're not too red. Another popular one is mineralized skin finishes. Again, 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone. Here's a cream blush, which is actually also good for contouring. It's called Cherche. Here's a very inexpensive way to contour. This is an e.l.f. bronzer for $1. Some people use liquid foundation. You can do that as well. You can use cream foundation. It's really whatever more comfortable for you. I'm going to teach you today how to use powder sculpting / contouring tools in order to achieve that sculpted look. And the next step is to find your correct highlighting powder. So to make it easier for you guys, I've laid out a few tools, which any of these can be used to go ahead and highlight or to shape your face. And one of the more popular ones, like I mentioned, the other one is Mineralized Skin Finish. This is a duo. It has shimmer on the top, which can be used for highlighting. They also had the Sculpt and Shape duo from MAC, which was released last year, which was really good. This is from the Dame Edna collection. It's actually a highlighting powder, and as you can see, it's like a light shade. Generally, highlighting should be the opposite. It should be 2 to 3 shades lighter. Then MSFs are really popular to use just because they're shimmery and glittery. And an inexpensive alternative is the e.l.f. It's called Luminance. It's part of their bronzing collection. You can also use a pressed powder foundation, which is too light for you. And here are some more of another pro product. These are the shaping powders, which are intended to highlight. You can also use beauty powders or foundation if you'd like, as long as it's lighter than your actual skin tone. Okay, so now that we've seen the contouring and highlighting tools, let's take a look at the brushes. Okay guys, I've laid out some various brushes that you can use for this kind of makeup application. Let's start off with the contouring. Some really popular contouring, especially for like the cheekbones, is an angled brush. This is the MAC 168. It's made to be tapered in and at a diagonal angle, so that way it can fit easily under the cheekbones. Pretty much every cosmetic company has an angled blush brush. For example, here's a Posh brush, which is like less than $10. Another popular one is the 109 brush, which is used for contouring as well, just because it's dense and it can really blend out the lines. You can also use a regular old blush brush, as long as it's small enough to fit on your cheekbones. And as far as highlighting, again, I like to use just a regular blush brush as long as it's flat. That way the powder lays better. A lot of people like using the 187 or the duo stippling brushes. Again, there's so many dupes out there of these, and you don't really need the actual MAC one, just because any one will do. Lastly, to contour the nose, you'll need a brush kind of like this. This is an angled fluffy eyeshadow brush, but MAC has one which is the 175, but you don't need that one. Any one will do. This one is by Lancome and it came in a gift set. So now that you've seen all the tools, let's get to the actual application. Okay, so now that you've got your tools, let's go ahead and start. First, we're going to learn how to contour. I'm going to use the 168 brush, and I'm going to use a sculpting powder just because I think it's the easiest thing to use. Something in powder form. I'm going to use shadowy right here, and like I said, take something 2 to 3 shades darker than your skin tone, and apply this after you finish your foundation, after you've set it with powder. If you apply it to a sticky face, it's not going to blend easily. So you're going to dip your brush into your sculpting powder, or your bronzer, whatever you choose, and just get enough on there. So, sorry the brush is already dirty, but it's okay to use. So first I like to start off by sculpting the cheekbones. So I make the kissy face, or fishy face, and go right under the hollow. After a while you'll start to know where it is for yourself, so you don't have to do it as much. But this brush is good because it fits right into the hollow of your cheek and go right into it. See how you start to see that darker powder? I'm going to do this a little bit more dramatically just so that way you can see it and you can see what I'm saying. So you don't want a line like that, so what you want to do is keep blending and kind of blend out the edges. Blend those edges out. Just use a brush and kind of like blend down and blend up. See how you get a softer line there, and when I look at the camera, it seems like it's like a slimming effect. Then what people say to do is to follow this and go up into your temples. Push my hair back. So you go into your temple and back into here and around into your jaw. And this is called the 3 or the E method. So like it's forming a 3 or E depending on what side of your face it is. And that's where all the shadows will naturally hit your face, and that's where you want to put the darkest powder, because that way it mimics the shadow and it kind of looks a little bit more natural. So depending on what you want, like if you want something more natural, do it lighter. If you want to do all out glam, going for the stage look, you can do it darker. But see how easy it is? I'm going to do the other side really quick, okay? See how it looks a little bit more sculpted? I'm going to make it a little bit darker just so you guys can get, you can really see it. Okay. Now be careful if you kind of go overboard. You can always take like a kabuki brush or a little flat top brush like this and just go over it, and it will erase basically what you put down. Or go over it with just like your regular press, your skin tone powder if you mess up. It's because you don't want to get this part, you don't want to blend it so much that this part gets darker and this part gets darker. You want to kind of keep it right here, 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 and here. So now let's go ahead and contour some other places. Another popular spot to contour is the nose. So I'm going to take the same powder and I'm going to basically contour my nose, and the rule of thumb is if you put a pencil, just go up from your nostril straight up. That's where you want the 2 dark lines to be, and the middle should be left alone. And basically you want this part in the middle no thinner than a finger, your pinky width. So I'm going to take the darker powder, not too much, this has to be natural guys, and start to draw the line. I'm going to draw it a little more obvious so you guys can see it. Do you see that? I'll trace out the shape, and you can already see kind of like your nose has shadows on it because this is like the high part and the low part, so the low part has shadows. So this is how you're going to contour your nose. Okay, so clearly you're not going to leave it like that, but I just want to show you the placement. What you're going to do now is kind of blend out. Leave the middle bridge of the nose alone, but you could go ahead and connect it into the eyebrow. And you can do this as dramatic or as natural as you want. This is a really great thing to do if you want to thin out your nose or define it a little bit more. It's also really good for photography because sometimes with black and white, your features kind of get lost a little bit. Okay, see how I blended it out more? If you step back, you can kind of see a difference. You can also bring the shadow at a diagonal of your nostril to kind of complete the line. And it kind of makes your tip of your nose a little bit slender. You can also go right here if you want to just minimize the tip of your nose. And you can also go behind the nostrils as well. And it just makes your whole nose a little bit thinner. And make sure to blend. It's important to choose the right color because some bronzers are a little bit too reddish and you don't want it to be red. You want it to be a flat color, like a cool tone. Okay, so there's that. Hey guys, I just want to take a second to interrupt regularly scheduled programming to tell you what I'm wearing today. And I want to do something fun and something a little bit different. And I'm actually wearing this for my anniversary dinner with a boyfriend. So let me tell you what I'm wearing really quick. On my eyes, I'm wearing pure white chromoline as a base, which is really good because I put white gesso eyeshadow on top and it acted as my whole lid color and my highlight. And then I put a pro color called Blue Calm right into here, and I have a pro color called Bright Sunshine, which is this yellow color here, and I just think it's really fun to kind of mix it up and put a bright bold color in your tear duct area. And then I'm just wearing some lashes, and I'm wearing Makeup Forever Aqua Eyes Black Eyeliner right here, and I'm wearing a Rimmel white eyeliner there. And on my lips, I'm wearing a Pure Minerals light pink gloss, and you saw everything else, or you're going to see everything else on my cheeks. So I hope you guys like it. If you have any requests, let me know. Back to regularly scheduled programming. And a lot of people also, another place they like to contour and correct is right here. If you have like a little bit of a double chin, you can just take the dark powder and go underneath the chin. And just basically make sure to blend it out though, because you don't want it to look like you got some dirt under your chin. This is going to mimic more shadows, so that way it kind of, you don't see as much. And people also like to bring the powder up into their forehead because they want to minimize the size of their forehead. So again, you can bring it up to the edges. I know Tyra Banks does this a lot. Bring it up to the edges. And just kind of, that way, it's just like the darker part is how much you're taking away. So that's pretty much the contouring part. Let's go ahead and move to highlighting. So for highlighting, I'm going to use Accentuate Shaping Powder, which is a pro product, kind of like its counterpart shadowy sculpting powder that I just used for the contouring. And I really like this brush. It's a Lancome No. 6 brush, and I like it because it's flat and it helps to be able to lay the powder evenly. So when you want to go ahead and highlight your face, you're going to want to bring out the features that kind of come off the face more, which is the cheekbones, the nose, the chin, the middle of the forehead. And by doing that, it just makes those features defined. So it's like you're thinning your face, but you're making your cheekbones pop, or you're making your bridge more defined. It's basically where the light hits your face. So I'm going to use a matte just because I think it shows contour more. Some people will put shimmery here too just because it gives their face a glow. But really we're going to contour and shape today as opposed to kind of like add shimmery highlight. So first I like to go ahead and put it right here. You can feel where your cheekbone is. So here's the contour part. Go up and it's like right at a diagonal. Kind of like if you take your nose and go up to your temple, it's this line right here. And you're going to put the lighter powder right here. I like to use the brush on its flat side and just kind of like go lightly because you don't want to, you know, mess up. Same thing with when you're contouring. Okay, so you can kind of build that up. This is a very subtle color, but it does make a difference. And you can also bring it into your chin to define your chin a little bit more. Let me go on the other side. Then a lot of people will bring it into the bridge of their nose. If you're going to do a highlighter on your nose area, I would suggest it would be matte because sometimes shimmery highlighters like MSFs make your face look oily, especially in the nose area. So I wiped off my 275 or this Lancome brush, and I'm going to get some of this and I'm going to bring it right down the center. And then I'm also going to bring it up in between the eyebrows and kind of blend it out. So as you can see, look how defined my features look. You can go as natural, as dramatic with this as you want. Another area that people highlight, which you might not think of, is right above the lip, because this actually makes your lips look bigger. Right here. I mean, you can use powder, but a lot of people use like a creamy product. And finish it off with blush. So basically you're going to put your blush in between your highlight and the contour. So you can just bring it. Take a little bit on the cheeks. I like to go really lightly with this blush just because it's so pigmented. And then to add extra contour, go ahead and bring that up into your temples. Okay, other side, just to complete the line. And there's my sculpted and shaped face. I hope you guys learned something. And check out my blog for before and afters and for this look. Also check out pictures of it on my blog. And thanks for watching. I know I got a couple of viewer requests to do this, so I hope I answered all your questions. And thanks for watching. Have a great night. Ciao, Bellas.